Very nice studio. Hello and welcome. This is Cricbuzz Live. मैं हूं गौरव कपूर. मेरे साथ बड़े मियाँ और छोटे मियाँ. I will introduce them as first बड़े मियाँ क्योंकि बड़ों का पहले स्वागत किया जाता है. How are you, sir, Mr. Bhogle, sir?
मैं भी आपकी तरह ऐसे देखने वाला था.
आपको ज़्यादा देखना चाहिए actually because you're back in studio after 2.5 years.
Yes. Actually, I'll tell you what, I'm enjoying this space because for 2 years, all I've done is looked into one webcam.
We don't even have a budget for webcam.
Now I'm looking into 1, 2, 3. लेकिन एक mistake हो गई आपसे.
क्या?
He is the बड़े मियाँ.
Why like this you say like that?
Because I looked at records and I saw one बड़े मियाँ over there.
What? Did you understand the joke? I have not understood it.
क्यों? Good player, no?
Oh, good player, you're saying.
नहीं, यहाँ के प्लेयर तो एक ही है, ब्रॉडकास्टिंग के प्लेयर एक ही है बड़े मियाँ, आपसे बड़ा कोई नहीं है.
अरे थैंक यू.
ये अच्छा है, इन दोनों का पिंग पोंग चल रहा है. I feel like a tennis Wimbledon.
इसलिए मैंने वो रिव्यू भी किया ना, प्रीव्यू किया था ना ये T20 के लिए, इसलिए मैंने बोला और ओन गौरव कपूर और श्री हर्षा भोगले.
Yeah, you said Shri Harsha Bhogle, which obviously is correct.
Correct. हाँ.
You should. My problem was the slander in that because you said elite gentlemen, plural. Elite gentlemen तक तो ठीक है.
हाँ.
ठीक है.
You are also elite.
How dare you call me that?
You are elite. You come into elite category.
How dare you? Don't. Lawyers, please. My lawyers will be getting in touch with Parthiv for this slander. But right now, keep the lawyers away. Right now, it's slander, sir. It's not right. I should not be addressed with these respectful terms. But of course, we didn't introduce him. He's wearing a lovely wine red today. And I love the colors that you're choosing. I love the colors on your socks. It's like little rainbow things are happening. We have Chote Miya, Parthiv Patel. Hello, how are you?
Very good, thank you. I'm under the weather a bit.
What is that?
I mean, I can go under the weather also. It's not that I can't go under anything.
This I understand.
That's nice. But I'm just saying that you and I, because we've just returned from UK, we will talk a lot about the weather because that's what people in England do. They only talk about the weather. So, sir, you also might have to jump in at some point in time and pretend to be interested.
Okay.
Yeah. How's the weather in West Indies is the question. Because the last time we were there, and there was the match that happened in Trinidad, that was, 3 years back. And I remember that there was so much rain, and I'm sure, sir, you have been part of that as well. Sometimes when it rains in West Indies, those rain delays can just be brutal. They go on and on and on.
See, the problem is the two of you have been in the UK, I've been in Mumbai.
Yeah.
So I can tell you a thing or two about the rain in Mumbai in July this year.
Yes.
In that the lakes overflowed much earlier than normal, so we've got a lot of rain here also. Don't worry.
Okay. हम ब्रॉडकास्ट की बात कर रहे थे, उन्होंने सच्ची में मौसम का हाल बताया. चलिए कोई बात नहीं. But we'll ask Parthiv. Parthiv, you've played. Where all in the West Indies have you played?
I think almost everywhere.
Yeah.
I've played even in Dominica, the smallest of island. It took 42 hours to come back to India from there.
Wow.
The airport was 2.5 hours. I had to reach Ahmedabad. I actually reached Ahmedabad at that 42nd hour from Dominica.
Brutal. That's brutal. Which is your favorite out of all of them?
Barbados.
Oh, nice. I've not been. Which is your favorite, the most scenic?
Antigua.
The King's Home.
Antigua, St. Lucia.
Yeah. I've only been to Trinidad.
The producer is trying to remind you there is a game starting.
But this is all part of the game. No, it's playing conditions. We're talking about playing conditions. And today, of course, we don't know much about the playing conditions because while it is happening in Trinidad and it is happening in Port of Spain, it's not happening at Queen's Park Oval, which is the ground that we're used to seeing it at. It's happening at the Brian Lara Academy, right? Or Brian Lara Stadium. It's called, yeah. Brian Lara Stadium, not just, sorry, Academy, stadium, proper stadium. So obviously the conditions is kind of new. Not too many games have happened over there. But this is the first ever T20 international that's happening over there. So obviously excited to see it. I have seen Brian Lara's house, I'll tell you that. They could have played the match at his house also.
Yeah, but that could have been in the mountains where his house is.
No, you didn't realize. This is very subtle, gentle name dropping. I've been to Brian.
Flex, sir. It's called, social media generation calls it subtle flex.
Subtle.
Achha, okay.
So I've been part of I've played on that Brian Lara Academy when it wasn't a stadium.
Yeah.
We were, in fact, in 2011, before the tour started, we had one practice session there. Then they were building the stadium. Then it wasn't the stadium.
Yeah. Okay, so let's tell you what has happened in the toss. I don't know what has happened in the toss. Who won? West Indies? Okay. And they're bowling first. Okay. So they are won. They are bowling first. And if they are bowling first, that means that India's batting first. All right. So let's talk about, of course, this is a very important series for India. 5 T20s to be played against the West Indies. And this is just the beginning of a flurry of T20 internationals that are going to be played in the next few months, leading up, of course, to the World Cup, which is happening in Australia. So 5 games against the West Indies. Then there's the Asia Cup. The number of matches, of course, we're not sure, but it has been moved from Sri Lanka to UAE. The dates are confirmed. Starts on the 27th of August. And then after that, Australia and South Africa come to India to play 3 games each. So it's 5, 8, 11, and I'm guessing the Asia Cup will be 5 or 6 games at least. So you're looking at playing about 15, 16
They've
games.
got 2 groups of 3.
Yeah.
From which 2 qualify into a Super 4s.
Okay.
Basically trying to get as many India-Pakistan games in as possible. So India-Pakistan play in the group stage, then they play in the Super 4s,
Yeah.
they make the final, they play in the final.
Maybe they play 3 finals also. They play Super 2s. Right? Khilate raho, khilate raho. Of course, looking forward to all the games that are going to be happening. But what is Team India looking forward to now? Because, of course, it's the World Cup, right? So what are they looking forward to getting the most or juicing the max from these 15, 16 odd games?
Look, in effect, you've got these 5 games and maybe 4 or 5 in the Asia Cup before you have to name your side. And my feeling is, I mean, that it'll have to be that way, that the 6 home T20 games that we saw up there a little while ago would be the played by the team that goes to Australia.
Yeah.
You'll have to, I mean, at some point, because you've also got to look at roles for yourself. And over the next 10 games, they have to figure out some key issues. I think the biggest issue is who's going to bat at 3.
Yeah.
So is Virat Kohli going to go to the Asia Cup and say, look, I'm Virat Kohli, I'm going to play? Or are they going to say, no, we're going to move on? So I think once they decide that, the rest of the batting the team actually picks itself.
Yeah.
The moment you decide, if Virat Kohli is batting at 3, the team picks itself.
Yeah, Rohit has mentioned that there are some spots up for grabs.
Yes.
Yeah, India, when big names are involved, stars are involved, obviously nobody, and why would they? I mean, also, why do you expect the captain or the coach to show their cards, right? Because all the other teams are watching. He's saying there's some spots that we need to fill, but we also know what we need to do to fill them. We will try to address all the issues in the coming matches. We just want them to play like they do, playing for their franchises or state teams. That's a very interesting line. Our job is to eliminate the pressure. We are just trying to create an environment where guys can play freely. Let's just focus on bit by bit, Parthiv. I think what they're doing towards the last 2 lines that he's saying, eliminate the pressure, create an environment where guys can play freely. We are noticing that in the last few series, aren't we? थोड़ा ये जो रोहित और राहुल द्रविड़ का थोड़ा setup है, it's a liberating kind of setup, isn't it?
Absolutely, I think that's something which they said it before even Rahul Dravid became a coach. I think that's something which they wanted to do. They wanted to give chances to players, and that's something which Avesh Khan played all 5 games.
Yeah, enough chances.
Enough chances that प्लेयर को पता होता है कि मुझे इतने गेम्स मिलेंगे और मैं अगर परफॉर्म करूंगा तो आई कैन मेक इनटू द साइड और आई कांट. It's as simple as that, and that's something which has not happened before, and that is the reason why we've never had a settled T20 side before going into World Cup. If you look around now, I think Asia Cup, just squeeze in that Asia Cup in between is very smart. That's where you can do a trial and error as well. You have 5 T20s now. You go in Asia Cup thinking, get Virat Kohli into the side and see whether this is our team or not, and then you can decide ahead. Then you have 3 Australia games, 3 South Africa games, and that's when, before going to World Cup, you'll have that idea.
But it's creating a very healthy environment. Yeah. Because this is exactly what Rahul Dravid did when he was playing India A. He was building a team.
Yeah.
When he was putting together India, he was building a side. So, for example, they're playing Arshdeep today. I have no doubt Arshdeep will get 3 or 4 games at least, even if he has a bad game, so that he knows कि जब मुझे drop किया था ना, I don't have to feel bad कि आवेश खान को 3 chances दिए मुझे नहीं मिला, क्योंकि जब मुझे मिलेगा I will get 5 games or I will get 4 games.
Yeah.
So Arshdeep will get 4 games so that each player is given enough time, as they say cruelly, enough time to fail.
Yeah.
And also therefore enough time to succeed. And I think it's a very healthy environment they're creating.
Yeah.
But they still need to have in their minds already an idea what that team to the T20 World Cup is going to be. Yeah. If not 15, they must know 17, 18.
True. It's a tough job because there's just so many. कहते हैं इतने दावेदार हैं और कुर्सियां कम हैं. So obviously a lot of claimants to those positions. But what is the great thing to notice, and obviously who the team is, that's not our concern. We'll know that. It's a happy problem for fans and obviously not for the selectors to have. It's a headache for them. But the good thing to see is that the approach that India is playing T20 cricket with has literally taken almost a U-turn in the last few months. You're seeing they're playing a different brand of cricket, and at the end of the day, it's the script that decides the actors. Well, anyway, let's see who the players are today. Who are the players who are going to take the stage today? This is the India playing 11. Rohit Sharma, Rishabh Pant, Shreyas Iyer, Suryakumar Yadav, Hardik Pandya, Dinesh Karthik, Ravindra Jadeja, Ravi Bishnoi, R. Ashwin, Bhuvneshwar Kumar, Arshdeep Singh. 3 spinners
Exactly.
in the side.
Exactly.
We were just discussing
both
that.
were
before
discussing it,
coming on.
yes.
A par score is 140.
Yeah.
So maybe it's one of the 140, 150 pitches. This kind of pitch is perfect for India against this West Indies side. You can see why is Ashwin is playing. So they're playing Shreyas Iyer, not Deepak Hooda.
Yeah.
I think if Ashwin wasn't playing, they might have played Deepak Hooda.
Yeah.
Exactly, and that's something which we spoke about. Like, that's how it should be. Deepak Hooda gives you that 2 overs, but India wanted that 5 proper bowlers and Hardik Pandya as 6 bowler.
Yeah.
So the indication was right that Hardik Pandya won't be considered as their 5th bowler going ahead in the World Cup. They'll say that Ravindra Jadeja and Hardik Pandya will be our 5th and 6th bowler, and then Ashwin or whoever comes in, whether third seamer or another spinner.
Interesting though, right? Because for a lot of people who are watching right now, it almost seems counterintuitive that a match is happening in West Indies and 3 spinners are playing.
Yeah.
But
As Mikey Holding would say, slow and low. I mean, we don't know. We'll have to wait and see. We haven't seen the track. But this is an indicator that it's going to be that kind of game that India have said we'll play only 2 quick bowlers and we'll play 3 spinners.
I have a question for the both.
And left-handers, so Ashwin.
I have a question for both of you. Of course, there is the Shreyas Iyer versus Deepak Hooda that you just said, right? That, okay, you don't need Deepak Hooda's overs. But forget that he gives you the overs, right? That he shouldn't be penalized for that, right? If you're just comparing batter to batter, right? Is Shreyas Iyer and Deepak Hooda, here they are, number 3 T20s in 2022. It's a tough one to pick, isn't it, Parthiv?
I think it is a tough one to pick, but I would have picked Deepak Hooda just, keeping conditions in mind and just the way Shreyas has played in recent time, the short ball, keeping Australia in mind. And Deepak Hooda gives you that flexibility that, he opened against Ireland and he batted at number 3 in IPL and in one-day games he's batting at number 5, 6. So he's giving you that flexibility, and not to forget his bowling. We are not talking about his bowling at all. That's an added advantage. But just only on his batting performance, I think I would have played him and batted at number 3.
Sir, he's your typical T20 player, right? कुछ भी करने को तैयार है. कहीं भी he'll bat in any position, he'll bowl, decent fielder. He's your typical T20 player.
And over the last 18 months, it's almost as if someone planted Deepak Hooda and he's grown and he started flowering.
Yeah.
When he left Baroda.
Yeah.
I think he got the additional responsibility when he went to Rajasthan, and he's just flowered as a player. And as Parthiv said, he's willing to bat anywhere. You send him at number 5 and say, today you're the finisher, tumko 20 ball khelne end mein. He'll say, okay, I'll do that. You send him at 3, he'll play a certain way. So his flowering has been fantastic for Indian cricket. I think in the kind of form that he's in, he just wants to play every day.
Yeah.
Because he doesn't want to waste the form he's in. But you can see what Rahul is giving Shreyas Iyer every opportunity. I'm not only Rahul, Rohit also. Giving Shreyas Iyer every opportunity to come good because they think that we've seen what we had to see of Deepak Hooda, which may not be fair to him. Because he's in such form, he might go and score another 100.
So basically, you're getting penalized for having done well. It's like
and penalized for having so many options. I mean, you looked at those numbers. There'd be so many teams in the world who'd kill to have both of those in the side.
That's true. Yes, absolutely.
And there's Sanju Samson who's been drafted into the squad. There is no Virat Kohli here. There is no KL Rahul. So I mean that is sometimes problems of plenty is also a problem. That's when you can't find right combination.
Actually, the question to ask is which of those 3 adds Sanju Samson to that list? Which of those 3 is best suited to play a World Cup in Australia?
Australia,
True. Your pick out of the 3? Tough call.
And an unfair call because these 2 have done really well and Hooda has done really well. You're going by perception. Sanju Samson loves playing in those conditions. And if he gets a go, I think he'll prove himself too.
But this thing about team selection, I'll ask you with IPL teams because you've played in many IPL teams. In some, all of them basically. सर कई को तो पैकअप करा के घर भी भेज दिया सर.
दो को तो पैकअप करा के घर भेजा.
हो गया जाओ. हो गया अब नहीं आओगे जाओ.
आईपीएल के जर्सीज की गैलरी जो बनने वाली है ना एक दिन, दैट्स इनके घर में होने वाली है.
और 3 ट्रॉफी अभी साथ में.
हिम एंड एरन फिंच.
सर ट्रॉफी भी तो है साथ में. मजा आ गया. और पीछे गोल्फ कोर्स भी है. साथ में टोल मिलेगा.
Finch and Patel.
Finch and Patel. That's a nice name. Imagine that men's cosmetics, Finch and Patel, aftershave lotion. But just a quick question on that about selection, because you see some teams do it really well. They get it right at the beginning of the season, and some struggle.
Yep.
Right? Like we always said that about RCB. Right? We said that the great squad, but confused 11. Right? It would never get the balance right till half the tournament was gone.
Yeah.
But a team like Mumbai would get it right fairly early on.
I think that's something to do with how you are preparing before the tournament starts, before how many games you are playing, how much time your captain is giving to the team. I think that makes a big difference because your captain has to trust your domestic players as well. Once you start trusting them, then you can get them into playing 11 straight away. You don't wait for them to see nets की देखते हैं नेट में कैसा कर रहा है 4-5 मैच जाने देते हैं फिर then we'll give that chance. But that is the reason why you get that probably settled combination from any other side than Mumbai Indians. And mostly with Indian team also, if you look at, I think India struggled where India did not have a settled combination going into T20.
Yeah.
I mean, there is no shortage of players, there is no shortage of talent. I mean, we could, like Hardik or anyone would have said that we could have get 2 teams into World Cup.
Yeah.
But it has to be a right combination which can win games.
We've got enough captains.
Got too many choices.
We've got enough captains. We can have 2. We can have 3 teams. Also. There's no-
Very funny. Many years ago, I was lucky to do an interview with Gary Sobers.
Yeah.
And he said, one of the problems you have that we don't have in Barbados. I said, such a small island, how does it produce so many great players? He said, we're a small island, we produce a certain number of players and we don't lose any.
Yeah.
He said, you produce so many, you lose so many.
Yeah.
And now what's happening with the IPL is you're going to lose so many players, assuming, of course, they all want to play for India. They're in the IPL, theek hai, but
Yeah.
you're going to lose so many. Shreyas may not make the squad. Sanju Samson may not make the squad.
Yeah. True.
And that's the caliber we're talking about.
Let's quickly also talk about Suryakumar Yadav. Because Sky, again, this Sky has no limit,
Different
as
league.
we have seen. Yeah, different league. Gets to play, really, sometimes you just have to do so many trials and auditions. He did more than his fair share. Parthiv, he did more than his fair share. Then he gets to play and some people hit the ground running, he hit the ground flying.
Like it has a lot to do with the way he has batted for Mumbai, not Mumbai Indians, the Mumbai Ranji team.
Yeah.
And so before coming into the side, he already had scored 5,000 first class runs. Someone who scored so many runs, he knows his game really well. And playing for KKR also, he did a lot of other things. If you look at different shades, obviously ODI numbers are, the average is not. With T20 and ODI average is almost same.
But क्या ये T20 average? What is it? Strike rate average क्या है? We talk about.
Look at that ODI average.
Yeah.
Some years ago, you'd have said not bad. 50,
Yeah.
in another era, you'd have said not bad.
Yeah.
Sehwag average is around this 35, 37. Yeah. And so I mean,
But
just
look at his T20 average and look at his strike rate. It's insanity.
the way he's batted, I think that 100 in last T20, I don't think I've seen 100 like that. I think the shots which he's played over point, just opening the face, and you can't even imagine like when this anyone else would have been playing.
ऐसे नहीं कि 55 मीटर का सिक्स था वो.
Yeah.
It was, I think, 65-70
वो कहते हैं ना any ground in the world पे 6 था वो.
65-70. Over there, the boundary is not always very big. The bigger boundaries tend to be in front.
Yeah.
But when you're scoring strike rate 175, 180, you're allowed a batting average of 30
Yeah.
sometime, because you know that you're playing a high-risk game.
Impact, yeah.
To average 38 with a strike rate of 177, oh man,
Yeah.
he must play every
It's
day.
like your 215, 220, what they call the Basra, right? The batting and the average strike rate.
So at one time, we used to say 165, 170 is good.
Yeah, ये 215 पे.
So now we're saying 180, 190 is good.
Wow.
Just rule of thumb.
By the way, you're absolutely right. Viru's average is 35. I haven't had an epiphany. Director told me in my.
Yep.
है ना ऐसे नहीं कि suddenly याद आ गया भाई को. ठीक है?
I do my-
I was just searching in the tabs. Found it. 35. So well done, sir. छोटे भी है नहीं बड़े भी हैं. You're right.
सारे नंबर होते हैं. इनकी उंगलियां देखो, उंगलियां बड़े. Since he's retired ना, उंगलियां बड़ी-बड़ी होती जा रही हैं क्योंकि नंबर सारे ऐड होते जा रहे हैं. स्काउटिंग के नंबर्स, एवरेज के नंबर्स, स्ट्राइक रेट के नंबर्स. अब तो स्काउट है ना ये.
Scouts, absolutely, Boy Scout. Okay, let's have a look at the West Indies team. Let's have a quick look at the 11 that they've chosen to go with. There's Brooks and Hetmeyer up top, Robin Powell, the captain and wicketkeeper Nicholas Pooran, Kyle Mayers, Odin Smith, Jason Holder, Akil Hussain, Kimo Paul makes it to the team, Obid McCoy and Alzari Joseph. So, sir, ये नहीं गए इनके कहाँ है spinner? Where is spinner? Akil Hussain.
They've got Akil Hussain. Kimo Paul take pace off.
Kimo Paul is actually a spinner.
Yeah.
भाग के आता है.
McCoy.
He runs from far, but it's a spinner only.
Yeah.
Obed McCoy will take pace off towards the end. It's that kind of side. And you can see the great shortage of fast bowlers that West Indies is facing because they've got the Romario Shepherds and Odin Smiths that they've brought back Alzari Joseph because they still need a fast bowler.
Yeah.
And they've got a lot of these seam bowling all-rounders, all of whom got economy rates of 9, 9.5 who bat.
Yeah.
But they still need a fast bowler. And that's why I think they've gone back with Alzari Joseph. It's critical for them that Obed McCoy does well. Because otherwise they're really struggling for bowlers.
Yeah.
Especially when you're playing in Australian conditions, that's when you need pace. You need player who can hit the deck hard, and that's where they tried Sheldon Cottrell. That didn't work, and you can add Kyle Maher's name in that as well. He's someone who will come and bowl that slow little.
He's got a 5 for 18 in a test match.
Dibbly dobbly.
Yeah. So,
Also, he might open the batting. I think he'll open the batting with Brooks.
yeah.
Yeah, you think?
Yeah.
Yeah, I guess so.
Yeah.
He'll open the batting
does.
with Brooks. So.
Head wire niche aayega na.
Also, a lot of new names, and we'll see a lot of new names. I think between these two World Cups, even though they're so close to each other, there's a lot of, and we also got that squad here. We'll put it up on the screen. A lot of the familiar names are gone, right, Parthiv? Because we were used to seeing these big stars. This is the T20 team that should be playing, but you see them playing in the leagues. But somehow that magic is not happening for.
I think it's very important for them to, again, same thing as India, create that right combination. This was the, 21 World Cup squad where there was Pollard, Bravo, Landell Simmons, and even Chris Gayle. Chris Gayle also played that World Cup. So I think they went with the policy of going with experienced player and guys who are playing T20 cricket.
Ravi Rampal.
Ravi Rampal also played that.
Of course they took Ravi Rampal.
Ravi Rampal and
37.
Yeah.
It's 37 that when he played the World Cup.
Okay, now I was going to say something rude.
No, don't make an age joke. Because you and me can't make age jokes. Parthiv can.
No, I was, since my waistline started growing, I've started thinking of age and waistlines. I thought of that with Ravi Rampal.
No, naughty.
So they
Oh, this is the first time I've used naughty today on this show. It's coming back. It's coming back slowly. Just come back from a holiday. Yaar, maaf karo. Thoda time lagta hai bhai ko engine start karne mein. Yes.
So I think they went with that policy of being experienced players. But I think, to create a team, especially in T20 cricket, if you've not played together, you don't know with what tempo the batsman would be playing. If you played together, these guys will take on someone else, or I can take him on, and that combination doesn't set. And that is the reason why I've been saying this. From India's point of view, it's very critical to get those opening pair right, get that 3 and 4 right. That's when you know whom to take on and whom not to take on.
And I mean, West Indies need to play these games even more than India do.
Yeah.
And the other thing is they haven't played in Australia for a long time. Everyone talks about India being very commercially minded. Australia invite people who are box office.
True.
Yeah.
They haven't played a one-day international since 2015. They haven't played a T20 since 2013 or something like that.
Yeah.
In Australia. So their players, other than some who've played the Big Bash, have not actually played in Australia. So they need these games as much as anyone. But Parthiv's point is so valid. Suddenly Andre Russell comes in.
Yeah.
Andre Russell comes in. अब ये Odin Smith का क्या role है? Romario Shepherd का क्या role हो गया? Jason Holder का क्या role हो गया?
Yeah.
So if they keep bringing the big players back only to play World Cups and not playing at any other time, then you're not building up. You don't know what your role is. Yeah. Is Andre Russell going to be a death bowler? Do they need to search for death bowlers here? So they need these games much more than India do actually.
Yeah, this time actually it was quite interesting because this point was also made that India is not playing in Australia before the World Cup. Like India is playing in India.
Yeah.
Actually, even Australia is playing in India.
Yeah.
They are coming here to play 3 T20s, but India is not playing in Australia. The only team that's actually playing in Australia is England. Apna friend, we call our friends to play before. Nobody else is getting to play over there.
Only England and Australia play 3 T20s.
Yeah.
That's it. Yeah.
Still, it's good warm-up. Yeah? Acclimatizing. Because we don't know what the conditions will be because sometimes in Australia, these pitches have also become like subcontinent pitches only.
Adelaide is very flat.
Yeah.
Perth has become slightly slower. But anyway, India is spending a lot of time in Perth before getting the World Cup started. I think 3 South Africa one days, I think it will be...
Shikhar and his boys will play
so
those, while one team goes to Australia to acclimatize before.
Yeah, I think that's where I'm sure India will be playing a lot of practice games before World Cup starts.
Yeah, it's interesting. But also ICC does the pitches for the World Cup, whereas Cricket Australia does the pitches whenever a bilateral or a triangle or anything is played. So nobody knows really what the conditions will be. So, जो pitch होगी खेल लेंगे ऐसी क्या बात है घबराने की कोई बात नहीं है. There was a very interesting thing that happened. We have is this a segment? Are we calling this a segment? We never do segments here.
Yeah.
Let's call it a segment.
No, they try to do segments. You don't do segments. The producer
I want to do a segment.
Producer gives you that.
I'll tell you why. Because abhi, just, I don't know if I mentioned, I just came back from UK. So, udhar na, for breakfast, I would always have orange segments. They was like, we'll give you orange segments.
Yeah.
So, I'm like, orange segment क्या है? संतरा जैसे हम खाते हैं वैसी है, but they are call it segments because cultured people. तो हम भी अब segment. So we also do a segment. This segment is called What If? चलो कोई बात नहीं, फिर से करते हैं. This segment is called, पीछे से म्यूजिक करना, ठीक है? What if? This band is available for शादी, engagement, kids मुंडन ceremony. बुलाइए हमें, हम आएंगे.
मैं तो पहन के भी आया हूँ. मैं तो बैंड वाला कोटी भी पहन के आया हूँ. ऐसे ही आते हैं कोटी पहन के.
वैसे सही बात है.
You know, I would have loved to be in first slip when he was keeping. एक मैच बस सुनने के लिए क्या बोल रहा है.
सर एक 500 रुपए का नोट फेंक के देखो अगर उठाते हैं. That's what
उसके लिए ढोल बजाना पड़ेगा.
Okay, so in this, the other day, actually, when I was going to the Heathrow airport, it's true, I'm not making it up. There was this Instagram live that was happening, which Rishabh Pant started doing. Everybody, all cricket fans know about it, with Surya and Rohit. And there was a guest appearance by Yuzi Chahal, by Mahendra Singh Dhoni. ये भी दिखे social media पे, सोचिए. Mahendra Singh Dhoni भी दिखे social media पे. And of course, they broke the internet. So we are doing this segment called What If, कि अगर हम तीनों होते वहाँ पे तो हम क्या सवाल पूछते. So let's start with किससे start करें, दिखाओ. अच्छा तीनों हैं इस पे, तो we'll start with Parthiv first. So there you go. In case Parthiv was there on this, if they had dialed you in, what is the question that you would ask?
I would have asked Rohit कि क्या हुआ कि you've changed the style of cricket which India was playing in T20. That consistency वाला style छोड़ दिया and now we're playing attacking but थोड़ा सा risky. तो क्या what led to that? Intellectual question.
बहुत अच्छा है. रिस्क है तो इश्क है, है ना? इनके नंबर देखिए रोहित शर्मा के, क्योंकि रोहित शर्मा himself has been, there's a little change in the way he's been playing as well, right? Especially in the power play.
This is Rohit Sharma of India.
Yeah.
Rohit Sharma of India in the power play. I think he's telling everyone, I want you to play like this.
I'll show you.
Therefore, I will also play like that. I'm going up front. I'm taking the first ball most days.
Yeah.
I will start like that. So if you're looking around saying, "Acha, this is new," I'll show you this is how we're going to play.
Okay.
And that is that's important. So you see the Rohit Sharma of Mumbai Indians. Sorry. Rohit Sharma of India is completely different. But I like this approach because that is the only way to win tournaments.
Yeah.
And he's gone out of the way to say, no, even before the T20 World Cup, we're playing a certain way. We won a lot of tournaments. India's T20 bilateral record is insane.
True.
But I think now they're saying, no, we'll play 180, 190, 200 games. And that will decide the batting order as well. Yeah.
Okay. So we want to see more of Rohit.
Obviously, and it was somewhat forced also. Like in last World Cup when India lost those first two games, we had to make sure that our run rate stays high, and that is the reason why India had to play different brand of cricket, and it suddenly discovered we can play like that, and that carried on. And obviously, I think Rohit Sharma, once he starts going, I mean, there isn't a player like him in T20 format. He'll get you hundreds.
And then from time to time, you need that key for KL Rahul also.
Yeah.
Remind him how good he is. The whole world knows how good he is. Sometimes you have to remind KL Rahul how good he is, and then he can play like that as well. I had a question for Rishabh.
Yes.
Which I've actually asked him, but
I want to show the graphic first because we made it, so we want to show it.
Okay.
There it
What
is.
if?
Please, sir. Please ask.
What if?
Yes.
My what if question to
Yes.
Rishabh Pant. I asked him, I got a short answer because this was during the presentation, the IPL. Where do you like to bat?
I think in the middle. I think in the center.
Not you, Rishabh.
No, him only. I think he would answer. He would say he plays like in the center of the pitch. There. No. Very bad joke, yeah. You shouldn't have written that joke.
But I'm
Kalon,
so happy.
Very bad.
I'm
Kalon
so happy
noted
you
has
cracked
forced
it.
me to say it, sir.
No, I'm so happy you cracked it because it was worse than my starting one.
But anyway, I will always look out for you. I will always. अगर आप क्लास में लास्ट आ रहे हो तो मैं लास्ट आके आपको सेकंड लास्ट कर दूंगा. आप घबराने का नहीं.
So I thought I'll ask in India's whenever in crisis opening batsman.
True.
Whenever you
He
go.
likes it. I think he likes opening, doesn't he?
Absolutely.
Everybody likes opening.
Yeah, I think Rishabh
From
likes
gully
opening.
cricket.
I think he wanted to open as well, and I don't know what answer he gave. I'm sure that answer he gave was he wanted to open.
Yes.
Definitely, because everyone wants to open, and then not just because you have more time and all of that, but he has the ability to play fast bowling really well. Yes, there are T20 strike rate is 124, which doesn't justify the kind of talent which he has. So I'm sure if you give him that opening, and that also breaks that lefty opener, and that also breaks the shackles of everyone plays with the same tempo. If you talk about KL Rahul, Rohit Sharma, or Virat Kohli, or 1, 2, 3 can't be that. You need someone who can bat the way Rishabh Pant or Ishan Kishan bats.
Yeah.
So I'm sure your first choice would definitely be Rishabh Pant. I'm sure he would like to open.
His numbers against spin. Ishan Kishan is a murderer of spin bowling.
Yeah.
Whereas Rishabh, for some reason, doesn't have the same numbers against spin. So if Rishabh just plays his normal shots, they'll all hit the gaps and go for 4 in the power play.
Yeah.
So he could become a fabulous power play player. The only problem will be, as he talked about the left-hander, if he comes to open the batting, our next left-hander is at 7.
Yeah.
And I think that is why they wanted a left-hander in the middle, batting at 4 or 5. But I think he wants to go and open the batting.
I've got a surprise for you, by the way. Guess who's opening the batting with Rohit?
श्रेयस अय्यर.
No.
जडेजा मत बोल देना.
बोल तो मैं कुछ भी सकता हूँ, पर सच नहीं होगा.
Rishabh Pant.
Again. क्या पूरे 11 में?
पूरे 11.
Ashwin. Come on, 4 you guys have guessed. Still not correct.
तो और 5 ही बचेंगे.
Surya.
There you go. Finally, the 5th guess.
Why?
has
Why
come.
would you do that?
I mean, you just want to try, maybe. In fact, Surya got picked for Mumbai Indians in first year in 2018. He opened.
Correct. He's opened. Surya's also opened. Surya's also
So
batted.
that also gives an indication that India might not want to play Rishabh Pant as an opener going into World Cup.
You think so?
That could be another reason because he played as an opener in last series.
Yeah, correct. I was quite convinced that he would play.
Yeah.
But it looks like Surya's walking out right now. But anyway, it's interesting. It's good. I guess they're experimenting and you will never know. And we don't need to justify it or we don't need to make sense of it. We just have to see it work. And we all love watching Surya bat. So it'll be great.
What if
What if?
Surya today hits 80, next game 75 as an opener? Are you going to open with him in Australia?
He probably will do it. He probably will hit those many.
Huh?
That means they are probably trying to fit in Virat Kohli as well at number 3. Because if Suryakumar Yadav is our number 4, and as you said, and everyone believes that, if there is left-hander in between, that makes a slightly little advantage for the teams, bowling to lefty-righty. So you might just see something different.
By the way, my what if I would have been on that, I wouldn't have asked a question. I would have just said, शेरों, डरने का नहीं, करने का.
धोनी को लगा दो Instagram live पे.
बस बिल्कुल, डरने का नहीं, करने का, सब कुछ. धोनी को लाना Instagram पे, खूब छक्के चौके मारना, वर्ल्ड कप जीतना, सब कुछ. डरने का नहीं, करने का. ठीक है? और अभी भाई का ये थ्योरी है लाइफ में. ठीक है? सिर्फ एक टाइम पे मेरा ये थ्योरी नहीं होता जब जॉय फैक्टर क्वेश्चन आता है, क्योंकि अपन को कोई आइडिया नहीं होता कि वो क्या होता है. ठीक है? तो अपन कुछ नहीं करता उसके बारे में, सिर्फ पढ़ के सुनाता है. For which team did Virat Kohli score 184 of 121 balls after Manish Pandey was dismissed early to win a tournament final in 2009?
This is Joy desperately saying, इतना मुश्किल है. I'll give you one clue. Manish Pandey got out early. So I'll give you one clue over there.
पता है आपको? आपको तो पता ही होगा.
क्यों?
आपको सब पता होता है. आप दोनों को सब पता होता है.
इसको पता होगा, मुझे नहीं.
You know? You don't know?
Pakistan?
What Pakistan? You just randomly said a word or what? Pakistan. Mozambique. ऐसा थोड़ी ना. This is what are we playing? Name place animal. कुछ भी बोल.
How many people know name place animal thing? You just told people how old you are.
I'm 84. Just got very good skincare regime. All right. If you know the answer of our Joy Factor question, if you do, then send it to us on Twitter. #CricBuzzLive, #JoyFactor. So please send us first inning score, prediction, guessing game. आइए. कौन शुरू करेगा? Who will start? Get your guesses in, gentlemen.
161.
161 because it's a 140 surface.
140 surface.
You're going with empirical data.
Yes.
Okay.
Because we haven't seen, so we're going by old data, but I'm also going by the fact that it's a very aggressive side. I might go a little higher and go 170.
Oh.
But if the first ball रुक के आता है, 2 ओवर का टाइम देना चेंज करने के लिए. पहले ओवर में अगर बॉल रुक गया तो देन
ठीक है, आप व्हाट्सएप पे भेज देना हमें. आप भेज देना, मैं आपकी एंट्री दूं.
वो ट्वीट कर देंगे, सबको पता चल जाएगा.
वो ट्वीट 2 ओवर के बाद ट्वीट कर देना आप सब, ताकि सबको पता चले.
जमाना था जब छोटे बड़ों के लिए बड़ी रिस्पेक्ट से बात करते थे.
ये भी
रिस्पेक्ट से.
He is very respectfully pulling out leg. With respect. Okay, I'm going to say, क्योंकि I believe in डरने का नहीं करने का, I'll say 180. सीधा 181. शगुन का
नहीं, 183 था ना उसका.
वो 183 था, मैं आज 181 बोल रहा. एक बारी सर विवियन रिचर्ड्स ने एक बनाया था 181 वर्ल्ड कप में. करेक्ट? राइट? तो मैं 181 बोल रहा हूँ. आप 171, 171, 161. डन. हमारे आ गए. You also tell us on Twitter while you're sending us the Joy Factor answer, because you all know it. Send us your guess also. I have a feeling you'll get the guess right before you get Joy Factor right. So send it. It's more fun. All right, you were watching Cricbuzz Live. When will we come back? कब आएंगे? 10th over. अच्छा, okay. पक्का? अच्छा, they are coming in the 10th. Okay. All right, we'll be here at the end of the 10th over for Cricbuzz Combox. Since we are here, thought I give you a little update of the India innings at the halfway stage. So do join us then. Big thank you to Parthiv Patel and Harsha Bhogle. I'm Gaurav Kapur. We'll see you in a bit.